Hello and welcome to another episode of From the Green Room. I'm Brian Zelmer, Director of KU Presents at Kutztown University here in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And we're in this extended intermission, if we'll call it that, from live performances. After over 30 years of serving the community with live performances, world-class performances and concerts, dance, theater, and now we have this little pause, but we're hopefully meeting some of you guys in the online world by bringing some artists to Kutztown still through this medium. And so while we do miss all of our current audience that has been with us for so long, and we do appreciate your patronage and also your support even during these times. And we want to also welcome all the new people when we do ultimately return. We just want to thank you for being there for us, and we hope we're bringing something of value to you. This program is intended to have discussions with various people in the performing arts world that are professionals or in the educational part of it. We'll be speaking with touring artists as well as educators in the college setting and students, and seeing all different ways that the arts, the performing arts world works. So you're invited to be part of this conversation. Just enter whatever comments or questions you have into the comments section if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And so I think it's time with that to meet our first guest. For those of you who aren't familiar with Clay Johnson, he's a musician who's performed all over the world with his band, the fabulous Equinox Orchestra. And that group actually may sound familiar to a lot of our audience because they were supposed to be part of our season at the end of 2020, the 2019-2020 season. And they were one of the casualties of the pandemic. So we hope to have them back again soon for everybody to see them live. But in the meantime, we're going to speak with Clay today. If you're not familiar with him, though, I am going to give you a little short video just to give you a quick taste of Clay Johnson.
On an evening like this, I could kiss everybody. I'm so full of love and goodwill. Let me say furthermore, I'd adore everybody to come and dine. The pleasure's mine and I will pay the bill. Don't take money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. So and it's sudden, you gotta be cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love. Look, be a lady tonight.
Clay. So good to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to see you, buddy. This is so cool, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so in addition to being a singer, we didn't get in the video, you're also a trombone player.
Oh, an extraordinary trombone
Which
player.
came first, the singing or the tromboning?
Well, so I grew up in a singing family, and I tell everybody I knew how to read music on a page, singing it before I knew how to read words. It was part of my DNA. So I kind of grew up singing, and then when I got into sixth grade, I joined the band, and they put a trombone in my hand, and I started playing. And anyway, it came pretty naturally because I already knew how to read the music and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good fit.
Now you still play the trombone because I've seen you in shows do that as well.
So. Yeah, I do. I don't play like I used to. I mean, it's part of it's a shtick. It's part of the show. I bring it out at the end, and everybody's like, "Oh, he also plays trombone," and it's not very good. But I was really, I don't want to brag, but in high school and college, I was good. I played all the time. I got a trombone scholarship to go to college and played the horn all through, in the symphonic band and the jazz band and all that kind of stuff. But after college, I just always wanted to sing. Like I would be in the band playing. I was like, man, I wish I could be singing in the choir or singing somewhere else. But I was good at it, so I stuck with it.
So you and Jeremy Davis started the fabulous Equinox Orchestra. I know you guys have been lifelong friends. You guys grew up together, essentially, correct?
Yes. Jeremy and we met in the 7th grade in a little town in North Louisiana called West Monroe. And we were, from junior high on, we were friends. Our moms kind of forced this friendship upon us. We were in every class together in 7th grade. It's kind of weird, but we had every class together, and our moms realized this on the night of open house, and so they thought, hey, it'd be neat if our boys could be friends, and so they made us
look where it's led.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So why big band? Why that style? How did you guys both come to loving that so much that you wanted to make a career out of it?
That's a great question. I think I think we matured into it really when we were and we played jazz. We grew up in Louisiana, played in the band in Louisiana, so being in the jazz band was kind of part of it. You know, we wanted to be a part of this really cool thing called the jazz band, and so we would stay after or do whatever we had to do to make sure we could perform in that. Went to college playing in the jazz band as well. But we also formed these other rock bands and party bands and funk stuff, and we were always just kind of on the I guess the more raucous end of music. And after a while, we're just that got old, and we were doing the SEC college circuit, playing at all the frat houses and all that kind of stuff. And just after a while, like, man, this is no way to this is no way to live. So both, Jeremy and I both kind of settled down with our wives and our families, but it just kind of was a natural evolution of this, like, man, really sophisticated, fun, big show. And Jeremy and I both love to entertain, and we both love to, create new content, and we're both storytellers. So we love doing it.
I don't want to stay too long in the past, but I do want to ask, because I know at some point in there you took a break from being a full-time musician and were a preacher, right?
And not just some time in there. I grew up in a ministry family. My father is a preacher. My grandfathers on both sides, great grandfathers, are all been preachers going back as far as you can trace the families. And I said, man, when I was a kid, I'm never going to be a preacher. This is stupid. I want to get as far away from church as I can. And so I tell everybody, I fought it hard to stay out of the ministry. I wasn't going to do it. But God had different plans. And so I just kept, making dumb move after dumb move and mistake after mistake. And God's like, nope, you can't go there. Nope. And I would just, he saved me from a lot of instances I could have really screwed up my life, but he saved me and kind of brought me back to this place where he put me in a place where I could minister and serve and work, and it really is. It's a passion for me now, and it's church ministry, yes, but even more so, foreign missions, going to other countries, third world countries, working with those that just are at the bottom of humanity that just need help. And so I love doing it, and it will always be a part of me for sure.
So you did that for a while, and then your music job started picking up at some point.
Yeah,
where you had to make a choice.
Right.
And going back to full time.
Right.
So I want to get back to missions, because I know we're a very short amount of time, because you guys started the Equinox mission, or the
right.
Global
Equinox
missions, right?
Equinox Global Missions. We officially became a nonprofit. We've been doing this for a long time, but we officially created a nonprofit, and were recognized as such about 6 months ago. So we're super excited about that.
Okay. Is that the group that you guys organized a trip to Israel with and did some performing there? Was that something?
Yes. And that was 2019 when we.
Seems like forever ago at this point. Right?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was back pre-pandemic. We traveled to Israel. In fact, that was the last big project we did. We went to Israel and took some folks with us over there to perform in some locations, and to also tour the Holy Land with kind of civilians who want to travel with us. It was a magical, inspirational experience, and we were supposed to do it again in 2020. Not so much. We are praying and hoping that 2021 we may be able to do something like that. We're just kind of waiting to see what travel restrictions are lifted or whatever in the next few months. But anyway.
So you grew up in Louisiana, but now you live in Savannah. You've been there for quite a while. Savannah, Georgia.
And aside from that one little year stint we spent up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that past.
That's fine. So you bring up the pandemic, and things down in Georgia weren't quite the same as it is up in the Northeast here. It doesn't seem like you guys completely shut down. You slowed down a lot. You lost a lot of your tour in parts of the country, including up here in Kutztown. But I see you guys have still remained somewhat busy with performances. Can you talk a little bit about how you dealt with the pandemic?
Yeah, busy in relation to everybody else. I mean, yes, okay. We have stayed busy. It's not nearly where we would have been, obviously. Mm-hmm. When the pandemic hit, Brian, just like everybody else, we lost everything that we had on the books for a solid year went away. And so I give a lot of credit to Jeremy, because he's really kind of the scrappy one that said we got to do something. And so he had this idea of going online and doing some just live streaming. And so we started like the very first week that we didn't have any work. We're like, let's just go online and see what happens. So
you guys didn't just do it. You guys did it really well, because you were able to pay your musicians out of that, which is incredible, because a lot of people had to close down. A lot of people had to go get, other jobs to make ends meet during this time. So.
I know, and we still had to a lot of our guys had to do other things, but we were still able to at least have a little bit. So what we did was we went online, and we just went online for free and said, hey, look, here's who we are. If you want to donate, we had a ticket button. You can buy tickets to the show, and it really helped us out. And so I think the number we did like 10 or 12 shows like that, and over those shows we raised over like $70,000, I think.
Wow,
where people just
incredible.
being like, the buying tickets and be generous, and we're able to pay our team and let our guys just kind of pay, keep the lights on or whatever. So we were so thankful for that.
Now we're in the green room, so some inside business here. You've done some ticketed virtual shows, and you've done some free virtual shows where pay what you can and that sort of thing. Did you find that it sounds like the pay what you can was very successful?
It was, that was successful for us. And what we didn't do, and we realized this pretty quickly, we couldn't do it because we were seeing other people do it. Was like, hey, here's a little tip jar, a virtual tip jar, where people would, when you ask for tips, you're going to get tips. If you ask for just ask for a lot of help, and people will give you help. So we would put out there like a normal ticket price. You can buy a $20 ticket. Okay, well, I'll buy a $20 ticket. So we were buying $20 tickets to a free show, and it was really, really a blessing. But also what we found, Brian, is that some of these other organizations would bring us in to do a virtual show for them, for their audiences in their theater. So we would travel. We've been traveling around to other theaters doing these virtual shows for their communities and doing fundraisers for them too, which has been, really
great.
Yeah.
So obviously the pandemic is horrible in so many ways, but there have been some blessings. And among those blessings for you, I think you get to add something else to your resume, movie soundtrack composer, right?
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about how that is, what that's about?
Well, as we were, just every day throwing stuff against the wall, putting stuff out on the internet, writing new music, all that kind of stuff, trying to do new things. A friend of ours who is a movie director now in Los Angeles, she called. Actually, she went to school. She was part of the whole like 7th grade, 8th grade growing up together. We were all in band together, right? So she's now in LA making movies. She's clearly successful. And so she called and said, hey, I got this movie, but I need some music. And so can you guys help me out? So we watched, she kind of sent us the portions of the movie that needed music, and we listened to her ideas, and we wrote down some things, and she loved it. My daughter even wrote a song and sang it in the film, which is really cool. So we were able to go in the studio and record these songs, and now they're in the movie. It's called Courting Mom and Dad, and it was just released last week, I believe, starring Scott Baio and Christy Swanson. You remember Scott Baio from Charles in Charge and Happy Days? So it's really neat to watch a movie and hear your music in the background. It's pretty cool.
That must be really cool. Have you written music before that, or is this the first stab at writing music?
We have, but we hadn't really had time. This is another great blessing of the pandemic, is that we were able to go into the studio and spend a lot of time recording and writing new stuff. Something that we've wanted to do, and we've been doing kind of just in spurts and starts, and it just hadn't really worked. We hadn't had the time to develop these ideas, but now we got all the time in the world. So we started writing and went in the studio, and we actually recorded enough music to produce 3 new albums. So
3. Wow.
3. So we just pushed out our first album last week. We put the album out there for everyone to hear. It's called Bridge. You can find it on any of your streaming services. It's there. You can go and listen. So then in April, we're going to release the next one. It's kind of an inspirational album, and then we have a third one that's going to come out in August. We already have the music all recorded. We're just trying to space it out, roll these things out throughout the year. So, but yeah, it's been neat to have this creative freedom to write and to come up with some new material.
So before we move forward with the storyline, I have a question. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment on stage?
Yes, I've had many. I've had many, but I will give you one that immediately comes to mind because I was just thinking about this the other day, and I still laugh about it in horror when I think about this. We were on tour somewhere. It was one of those tours where we were just out way too long, and we're just every night in a different town or whatever. And Kutztown, you don't know this, but you will eventually whenever we come to visit. I get really excited on stage. I love doing this. It's a whole lot of fun. And so there's a whole lot of physicality to what I'm doing. I mean, I'm like jumping. You've seen me perform, Brian. You know this. I'm jumping up and down, and I'm moving, and I'm dancing, and all this kind of stuff. And there was this one moment where we were on stage playing, and I got really, really excited, and I jumped up. And when I came down, I was facing the band, and I was in front of the band, facing the band, my back to the audience. I jumped up. When I came down, I landed a little bit off balance. And I started moving, falling backwards, which is in the direction of the audience, which, by the way, is, primarily elderly people in this audience, right? And so we're on a stage, we're up about a good 6 feet from the floor, and I start falling backwards, and I can't stop, and I have about 10 feet behind me, and I'm trying to catch myself, and I made it to the very edge of the stage. My back was hanging over, and it was nothing but the grace of God that just basically picked me up and did not allow me to fall on these old ladies in the front. I would
Please tell me there's a video of this somewhere. I want to see that.
I hope not. That was the most awkward chicken dance you could possibly imagine.
That's hilarious. So you kind of went full circle, because then, was it 2019, January 2019, you started preaching again in a way, but from your car.
Yes. So
you have a program, a Facebook Live program.
Yeah, the name of the show is called The Parking Lot Pastor. And it's on a Facebook page, Parking Lot Pastor, and I go live from and it's also on like Spotify and iTunes, those kind of things. You can find it as a podcast on there as well. But yeah, so once I stopped preaching, working in full-time ministry, I knew I needed to do something, and I was just in my car with my daughter on New Year's Day 2018. Actually, it was New Year's Day 2018, and we stopped in a parking lot, and I flipped on the camera and said, "Hey, y'all, I'm gonna be talking now. Y'all just get used to it. So you can turn me off if you don't want me, but I'm just gonna talk about the Bible from my car." And so I started that, and it's been wonderful. I mean, I've grown, and the audience has grown, and it's been a great thing to be a part of.
That's great, and I know, you've got a pretty good following now. And
just as a side note,
yes.
kind of building on that, that actually opened up an opportunity for me to go back to seminary. So right now I'm attending Shepherd's Theological Seminary. Remotely. There's a Savannah cohort that we kind of log on and attend classes, but I'm able to go to seminary at Shepherd's Theological Seminary. It's located in Cary, North Carolina. We just go to shepherds.edu and log on and take the classes. So cool. I'm working on my graduate degree there.
Very good, very good. So speaking of graduate degree, we have not a graduate program here, but undergraduate commercial music class. And they like to ask questions, and one of them for you today is regarding how you got your start as a big band. How did you get your notice to get gigs? How did you get in the doors of these places that you first got your first gigs in?
Well, that's a great question. The first, so if I go back to the very beginning, when we were in college, we had all these other bands we were doing. We formed a band to enter into the talent show at Louisiana Tech University. That's where I went to college, and we did a Harry Connick Jr. song called "Just Kiss Me," and I sang it because I love singing. And then we had the band. We had a small jazz band behind me. They were playing, and right after we did that, there was a couple in the audience that said, "Hey, we're having our 150th wedding anniversary or something." It's an old couple, and they're like, "We want you to come play for it." So we said, sure. We didn't know what to charge. We didn't know what to play. We didn't even have any songs practiced. So we just basically we worked on some songs and then went and played this anniversary. And I can't tell you how horrible that must have been. But we played it, and I think I got like $20 that night, and I was like, yes, I got paid $20 to go play. It was so exciting. And then, from that point on, we just knew we could make money doing this, and it was pretty cool. So we started basically getting together and practicing, and then just telling folks what we were doing, and a lot of times we would ask if we could play for free for places so people could hear us perform, and just putting yourself out there. My kids ask me constantly too, because they want to be performers. They are performers, but they want to know what to do. How do they get started? Well, you got to get together, practice, get something together, and we can go down to a coffee shop and say, hey, can we sit in here and play? You don't have to pay us anything. We'll play for tips or whatever, and just work on that exposure, and then and folks.
So building your chops and getting exposure.
Building your chops, finding partnerships with places that let you pay and let you play, and then eventually, there will be some interest, and people will be like, hey, yeah, we got this little birthday party at my my daughter's 5th grade class is having a birthday party. Will you come play it? Yes, sounds good. Let's go do it. So yeah, that's how you get started.
Clay, we're almost out of time. We actually are a little bit over time, but I I just want.
I want to keep talking, man. This is fun.
I want to keep talking too. This was great. I miss hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So we had Dina Blizzard on last week, was our guest, and she had mentioned that we have this group of people that get together at this arts conference that usually happens every January, and we haven't been able to do that now in over a year, and it's definitely miss all of you.
I know it. I guess now is not the appropriate time to start talking about all the stories I could tell about you at these.
No, thank you. Yeah, we got to go now.
Yeah, okay.
So what is in store for Fabulous Equinox Orchestra at this point? You must start to see some of the light at the end of the tunnel at this point, especially, we hear stories in a lot of the meetings that I attend, the industry meetings, they talk about the South, Texas opening up, and a lot of these other, Florida having shows and things like that. So are you starting to see some gigs on the horizon for in-person shows beyond virtual?
We are, and it's good, and we're thankful for it. We still have now. There are some outdoor things. There are some virtual things in remote locations, so we can travel to these places to do remote shows. Some smaller events where folks are kind of braving the finding creative ways to brave getting together in spaced out, socially distanced ways. But we still have. We have a tour on the books coming in September, a big one, and those dates are holding so far. We've got a few small dates that are in this spring and throughout the summer. So, honestly, we're doing all we can to just hang on to those. And when people say we can't get together in theater and have a show, well, okay, we can't do that, but what can we do, and how can we? Because we have the time. Clearly, we have the time, and we have the free the ability to get there. So what can we do? So we're trying to, with every one of these conversations, how can we help you, right? Because I know for you, Brian, and for all these other performing arts places, I mean, y'all are suffering the same, if not worse, than the musicians are, because everything you have is gone. I mean, your whole existence was based on people getting together. So anyway, we try to find creative ways to do that.
Clay, is there anything else you want to pitch? You mentioned your CDs. The other one coming out in April. When was the third one coming out?
It'll be in August, is what we're thinking, and coming this August. We've got a lot of things going up in here. We got a lot of things on paper. There's the movie, there's the CD, there's shepherds.edu. There's we've got the other CDs coming out in the future. Oh, Jim and I are started the podcast. It's not out yet, but we've got a few episodes kind of recorded. We go Friday to record a couple more, and so the podcast will be coming out soon too. So anyway, a lot of cool things that we're trying to be creative and keep things moving forward for sure.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, and we have to get together soon. So
yes,
best of luck to you.
Thanks, Brian.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed and found something useful in this conversation. Please join us, like us, subscribe, whatever you have to do to follow us again, and join us every Wednesday at 4 p.m. when we speak to different people. Next week, we're speaking with Dr. Maria Asteriadou, who will be talking about education during this time of the pandemic in the music field. So with that, I'm Brian Zelmer for KU Presents, and I can't say see you at Schaefer, that's our usual tagline, but until we can all get together again, we'll see you in the green room.